The .NET community is still reeling over the introduction of a closed-source email scraping library into popular mocking framework Moq, and now AWS have chosen to distance themselves from the project entirely. Meanwhile, Microsoft introduced Python code execution into Excel, and Terraform has been forked after HashiCorp rethink their open source licensing model. All of this and more in the new series of Web Development News. AWS has cut ties with the open source project Moq following severe backlash over the quiet introduction of data collection features. Moq is a library that's widely distributed on the NuGet software registry, and at the heart of the storm is Daniel Casalino, also known as Kazoo, one of Moq's maintainers. His move to include his sponsor link package in Moq's version 4.20 without prior notification has led to an outcry by the .NET community. This inclusion led to SponsorLink harvesting SHA-256 hashes of developer email addresses from local Git configurations, subsequently uploading that data to SponsorLink's CDN. User responses have been swift and decisive. Many developers have opted to stop using Moq in favour of alternatives. Some suggest crafting tools to detect and block any projects that incorporate SponsorLink. More assertive voices have even recommended boycotting projects that use SponsorLink or reporting it as potential malware to the NuGet registry. Legal concerns are also on the table. There are questions regarding the alignment of this data harvesting practice with privacy laws like GDPR. A German court's earlier decision declared that SHA-256 hashing does not adequately anonymize data. Despite some amends, like Casino rolling back the controversial change in Moq version 4.20.2, users still remain highly skeptical. There's still a fear that future versions of Moq could reintroduce a similar feature. Amazon Web Services, like many others, have made a clear decision to distance itself from the project. An AWS open source advocate, Rich Bowen, requested that all references to Amazon be removed from the Moq project. Overall, the Moq Controversy emphasizes the importance of transparency and open dialogue within the open source community. In an exciting development, HTMX, a popular tool for HTML developers, has been accepted into the first class of the GitHub Open Source Accelerator. The HTMX team will use this as an opportunity to begin work on HTMX 2 and potentially explore the possibility of making working on HTMX a full-time job. This is a significant milestone for the project as it will provide valuable resources and support to further enhance the capabilities of HTMX. The tool enables developers to build modern user interfaces with hypertext, therefore minimizing the need for JavaScript. The community's reaction to this news has been largely positive, with many developers already benefiting from HTMX in their work. In a significant stride for Microsoft's data analysis capabilities, the company has announced a public preview of Python in Excel. This new feature allows users to combine native Python and Excel analytics seamlessly within one workbook, enhancing Excel's analytical capabilities. Taking Python calculations into the cloud, the results are returned directly into the workbook, and that creates an integrated approach to data analysis. The new integration is intended for analysts and users who routinely depend on Excel tools like pivot tables and formulas and charts to comprehend their data. The potential issues of running Python code in Excel spreadsheets have sparked debate on platforms like Reddit. As Microsoft navigates these concerns, it's clear that the new addition could mark a transformative era for data analysts and a potential game changer for Microsoft Excel's capabilities. Software company HashiCorp announced its transition from an open source model to a commercial one, changing its source code license from Mozilla Public License to Business Source License. And by doing so, it's joining the ranks of prominent companies like Couchbase, MongoDB, and Confluent. The founders of HashiCorp insist that the preservation of principles of open source development will continue to be at heart of the company's philosophy. HashiCorp's move follows a trend among similar companies advocating the evolution of commercial open source models. As a result of this, Terraform's license has also changed to the Business Source License, so the community has announced a fork of a project called OpenTF. The objective is to maintain the open source nature and ensure a community-driven and impartial approach, as well as backward compatibility with Terraform. The OpenTF initiative is gaining momentum with significant support from companies and contributors. Documents have already been completed for OpenTF to join the Linux Foundation and ultimately become part of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, which is securing its open source status even further. Practically, OpenTF will serve as a drop-in replacement for Terraform, and work is already in progress for an anticipated 1.6 alpha release of OpenTF. In its latest move towards enhancing user-friendly advancements, Go 1.21 introduces new features to improve the compatibility of its software. A decade-long focus on compatibility allowed Go to build strategic ways to avoid breaking any Go program, with several methods such as API check-in and testing. Going forwards, Go 1 plans to maintain compatibility, leveraging boring releases to make developers' work easy rather than introducing radical changes. And lastly, in what comes as a blow to the software development community, we've learned that renowned author and engineer computer scientist Kris has passed away. Nova is celebrated for her numerous contributions to open source projects such as Linux, Kubernetes, and the Go programming language. The loss has deeply affected Novenly's community, and they are rallying to move forward, honouring her wishes. So that's all we have for this week. Subscribe here on YouTube to stay up to date with web development news in the future, along with all the normal tips, tutorials, and guides that I upload to this channel. My name's James Charlesworth, and I'll see you in the next one.